Hey there everyone, Dr. Beth Westy here. I wanted to jump on and talk about some feedback, some feedback that I got after I did a video a couple of days ago with my friend Heather. We were talking about the keto diet and I was giving my opinion and the experience that I've had in working with women that have done keto and everything else, and just sort of how the female physiology is really different from male physiology, and specifically some things about that. So if you missed that video, I'm tagged in it. You can find it and watch it. But before I dive into the content that I have, I'm going to give a disclaimer, especially if you're watching the replay of this. If you because I have a new theory, people who are into keto are like people who are vegans, who are like, oh my God, if you're not doing keto, you're doing it wrong, blah, 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 blah. Listen, everybody's entitled to do whatever they want. And if you love it, great, that's your thing. That's not my thing. So you can just stop watching the video and move on with your day. Great. But if you really are interested in learning more about female physiology or just some different things or a different, angle of it, then, keep watching. So I'm not about haters. I don't argue online. Again, my disclaimer for this, and I have to do a disclaimer when I talk about this topic because people want to argue about this. So disclaimer, I don't argue online. If somebody leaves a nasty comment, I'm just going to delete it because it's my post and I can. And I don't argue online. If you want to send me information privately or have questions, I'm more than happy to chat with you in a separate space. But again, I don't get into arguments online because it's tacky and I don't involve myself in that. So moving on from my disclaimer and everything that I'm going to talk about, this is sort of a follow-up from that video, meaning I talked about a lot of information on keto. I don't believe that women should be following a keto diet, especially long term, right? If you want to do some type of fasting or want to do some type of restriction of nutrients at a different point in time, okay, great. That you can do things in a pattern or a way where you're manipulating the body to get a different result. In my book, The Female Fat Solution, which you can find on Amazon, I do talk about intermittent fasting, which is it's a play on nutrients, things like that. But I talk about going through it with snacks and doing it for the female body and just, a different take on it. Again, I've done other videos and things like that on it as well. So, but one question I get a lot when I talk about keto is women are like, oh my gosh, I tried it and it was horrible for me. Or I felt like garbage. Maybe I lost weight, but I rebounded really badly. Now what do I do? Because I can't seem to get out of this place. And I want to say that this is, I'm hearing this a lot from women recently. This is since keto is becoming like this big thing, or people are like, oh, this keto product or this keto coffee or this keto whatever, right? They put healthy fats in it, which I promote and it's good to do. I talk about fat bombs. I talk about, eating more healthy fats, especially for the female and especially during days 15 through 28 of your cycle because your body needs it. Absolutely, your body needs it. But I don't do that and say that to add healthy fats because you're restricting other nutrients. Any type of restriction, especially long term, in the female body, your body is going to see it as a stressor. That's just how the female body works. And our bodies are already designed to store fat. So if you piss it off, if you stress it out more, then it's going to flip on that fat storage even better. Hi, Spot. So Spot's saying hello. This is my dog, Spot. Of course. Thank you, Spot. You brought me your ball. He just brought me his ball. Yep. Okay. Do you want me to? Nope. Now he's just going to. Yep. Okay. All right, go sit. Down. Okay, stay. So he's just going to sit here now. While I talk about what to do next. A few of the things, again, if you missed that video, if you don't want to, because we did have a conversation back and forth. A few of the things that are concerning for me when women are, trying something, right? They're trying something to have a crash diet or whatever. And it's very random, like they're not being guided through it properly by a healthcare professional, right? If you know, that's something very, very different. But if you're just like, oh my gosh, my neighbor lost a ton of weight doing this thing, I'm going to try it too to see if it works for me, and you're not being safe about it, that's where I get concerned. Or women have a bad reaction to it. That's where it's, ooh, your body needs carbs for energy. Your body needs carbs to upload protein, right? I promote eating healthy amounts of protein, fat, and carb in equal amounts at every meal. Also, a lot of people are confused at what keto actually is. So again, not going to get into discussion on that either, because I've done other videos on that. I have a podcast on that. If you want to learn more about that, you can listen to the podcast that I did. My podcast is The Female Health Solution, so I did one on keto. But there's even another book that I reference. This is called Roar. This is by Dr. Stacy Sims. I follow a lot of the stuff that she does because she's a PhD who studies women. Her big thing is hydration for women. She works with the company Noon, you know, again, hydration for women because your body changes throughout the month, and to hydrate appropriately for the different things that are happening. Oh, amazing, awesome, love it. Yes, please. Please do more things. Yes, please highlight this more for women. I talk about nutrition that matches the cycle and how to, you know, really work with your body and not fight against it. So one of the things that she states in her book, so if you have not read this, please get it, please read it. I'll put a link below this video for you guys to read it. But she talks about our brains are different chemically. Women only produce about half the amount of serotonin that men do naturally. That kind of stinks, right? Serotonin makes you happy. Serotonin makes you happy. Ooh. So you need to be extremely careful about low carb diets because restricting this macronutrient causes your brain to produce even less serotonin, setting you up for mood disorders, especially if you're already prone to them. Serotonin is a big deal. By the way, that's on page. Can you guys see that? That's on page. Dog. My dog is knocking all my stuff over right now because he lost his ball under the couch. This is on page 243. So again, for those of you, I'm not arguing. I'm not going to, you know, read the book, read the stuff, do the things, research people, and learn, okay? That's all I'm going to say about that. Now I'm going to move on to the questions that I get for people when they've gone through keto and when they've done a restrictive diet and they're like, I don't know how to get back to this, or how do I, because now I eat a carb and I blow up like a balloon. Oh, right? So if you're eating keto, your carb amount is super low. And this is, you know, it can be different for each person, but so this is, I'm going to do a varied amount here, right? And this is just a suggestion. Again, very clear. This is just a suggestion to try. Because again, I'm one of those people where if I'm like, oh, this is interesting, I wonder how this would work for me, I'm going to try it myself before I do anything else. I will read the book. I will do the work, right? I will like test it out, right? So this is why I do this. If you have questions, I will put a link below. You can schedule a call with me. And you know, then, you know, we can chat about it because you may have something different going on that, you know, it may take you longer to go through this. Like stress impacts the body really negatively and it can be really, really tough. So, he just gave me his ball. I'm gonna put it there. Nope, sit. Okay, so this is just a suggestion as you're getting back into eating more carbs. So this is going to be carb amount. So say you've been doing something super restrictive, and you've been getting anywhere from, you know, 25 to 50 grams of carb a day. So this is what you've been getting. 25 to 50 grams of carb per day. That's really low. Really low, especially if you're active, right? Because this can be really tough. Your body, your muscles store, you know, carb, glucagon, and things in them. So it can be tough if your muscles, if you're trying to work out or like run a 5K or something like that, or a 10K or a half mile or a half marathon or something like that. You run out of energy completely. Yikes, right? So this is really, really low. Let's just say you've been doing, I'll make it an even number. We'll just say you're doing about 40 grams of carb per day, right? But this can mean anything there. How do you go from here to eating more carb? Because if all of a sudden you jump, right? If you jump to 150 grams a day, what's going to happen? you all know what's going to happen. For those of you that have gone through it, you're like, yeah, I blow up like a balloon and it's terrible and I'm so sad. I know. So this in like a day, don't do this, right? The hard thing with this is that to get here, you can go from here eating like 150 grams of carb a day and all of a sudden eat just 40 and be like, oh my God, this is so great. I lost 5 pounds this week. That alone also worries me. For women to have a big, fast shift in your weight loss, very tough. I did a video. This was maybe Thursday. So 3 days ago, where I talk about appropriate weight loss for women. If you're really looking at having fat loss and having that be at a healthy pace for you and your body to maintain and get to a good lifestyle, right? So that's the hard thing, is that you can go from here to here really quickly and then feel like I'm making progress. But then all of a sudden you can get stuck or things might not be working for you. You might not be feeling good. You might not be getting energy. You might have some hormone dysfunction, right? The serotonin, right, that I just talked about. Okay. This to this doesn't work the same way. It just doesn't. So how do you get from here to here? And I recommend going through some carb cycling. So I'm going to be doing a carb cycle challenge in my membership group. So I'll put a link below for you guys that, maybe are interested in checking that out, seeing what that's about, that type of a thing. Learning more about carb cycling, how to do it appropriately for your body and everything else. But just as a suggestion to get from here to here, I recommend doing a tapered amount and it taking some time, right? And now you might be thinking, oh my God, 150 grams of carb a day, that's a lot every day anyway. Okay, whatever, even if it's 100, to go from 40 to 100 or 120, right? Very different. So first off, let's talk about types of carb, because that's important and essential. If you we've got simple carbs and complex carbs, having about equal amounts of both. So meaning you want, I'll use a different color here. You want equal amounts of complex and simple. So this is like oatmeal, and this would be like an apple, right? Quick sugars, any type of fruits, something like that. Oatmeal, grains, rice, quinoa, what have you, right? So an equal amount of each. So as you're planning, okay, I got to get back into this. How do I do this? The hard thing with this is that you have to get back up to a higher point in a healthy way before you can start carb cycling and really working with your metabolism to get back to that healthy place that you want to be with burning all these nutrients appropriately for your body. So getting from 40, making a jump every day, between 15 to 20 grams of carb. Now the thing is that you want it to be split pretty evenly between the complex and the simple as you're making that jump every day. Now I shouldn't even say every day, sorry. As you're tapering and you're going up. Now your taper, it can take, a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Again, this is where it's hard for me to, tell everybody specifically do this thing, because not everybody is the same, right? That's why I have a 12-week program where I work with women, taking them through these processes, because I can help, decipher what your body's going through and doing and say, and recommend, okay, now let's add in this, now let's layer in this tactic, because your body's finally ready for it, because you're experiencing things that are increasing your metabolism. Like, oh, you're hungry now in the morning where you never were hungry before. That's a problem, because your metabolism's probably not working for you then. All right, so increasing, let's say 20 grams of carb a day, right? Okay, that's what we're gonna be going for. And let's do it let's do an even pattern, right? Let's plan this out. You're gonna do it in 3-day chunks. So again, this is just an example. Very clear on that. Just an example. So every 3 days, you're going to increase your carbs by 20 grams. Now of that 20, 10 is complex and 10 is simple. So that's maybe like half an apple, right? A cup of berries, something like that. Having that in addition to your day. This is a very small amount of complex carb. I'm sorry. This is like a small corn tortilla is like 10 grams of carb. But hey, if you haven't had a corn tortilla or had like, you know, tacos with a tortilla, it's amazing when you finally get to have one. So having that even split between complex and simple carbs to get back into it. And then every 3 days, so you're going up 20. So you go from 40 to 60 and you ride at that 60 for 3 days. And then you go from 60, right? And you're going to add another 20, 60 to 80. So let me make sure you guys can see this. Let me go put it over here. I'll write it over here, so you guys can see. Like, I get so excited. We're just gonna see. I have a big whiteboard. It's a good thing I have a big whiteboard. So day 1 through 3, again, just an example. You went from that 40 grams a day before. Days 1 through 3, now you're at 60 grams, right? Adding 10 and 10 of each. Now, days 4, 5, and 6, now you're at 80 grams. Oh my gosh. I move over here and now I can't write. 80 grams a day. Days 7 through 9, now you're finally at 100 grams, right? So you can see how this could take a week and a half to really get up to even 100 grams of carb a day, getting back into it slowly, where you're not just, again, making that huge jump, but slowly tapering up. Now from here, this is still a lower amount of carb, especially if you're really active. So again, I give myself as an example all the time, because these are things that I not only talk about, but I do and I use. And so for myself, I'm an athlete. I'm 6'2", so I'm really tall. Your physical body may not be the same size as mine. So for me to look at this and be like 100 grams of carb, that's a really low carb day for me. Yeah, because I'm super active and I'm super big. This is sort of a medium day for me. I am getting things, I'm in my last part. I got a postseason of football. I play football for the Minnesota Vixen. So that's a whole nother game, right? So one of the things to think about too is that, so my activity level, how many times a day I work out, all that other stuff, the training that I do, I have to have more carbohydrate in my diet day to day. So for me, this would be low. But for some people that have been eating 40 grams of carb a day and they want to get it to a higher amount, I want to run a half marathon this fall and I want to get more energy and I want to feel good doing it, that type of a thing. And I want to try that carb cycling to really work with my metabolism more. Okay, great. Let's taper this up here. Now from here, you can play around between some of these numbers, 100 to 200 grams of carb. And this is really great, especially for people who are active and who, you're training for a 10K, whatever it is, right? And you can play with that amount and then do carb cycling within that frame. So you're, again, slowly increasing, letting your body get used to it. When you've decreased carbs for so long, enzymatically, your body has a hard time digesting. So keep that in mind. But once you're here, there's a lot of really good things that you can do. But slowly getting back to it. So your body's like, oh, I see what's happening. I see what's going on, right? But also that you're not just going to go from 40 to 100 or to 150 with just fruit, right? You want to have it even, right? You want to have it even, complex and simple carbs, because they are broken down and used differently in the body. And then your body is able to use both. If you only use simple carbs, again, your body doesn't process and use complex carbs as well then. So again, you got to keep it going in your system. So that's why I say having both types, very important, and will serve you well. And carbs are delicious. So there's that. Yes. Enzymatically. Yes, KP, right? I said enzymatically. It's true. Oh, that's how the body works. Anyway, I find this really helpful for a lot of women who are lacking energy, who try nutrient depletion of any kind, and they, they're struggling with their results, they're struggling with their energy, and they're really having a hard time moving forward with it. So I find that this is a great way to incorporate nutrition and still allow you to live your life, right? Like once you learn some of these things and once you learn how to manipulate your carbs and everything else. Now I got to tell you, today was a high carb day for me. Love it. Like I wake up in the morning and I'm like, let's bring on the carbs. Let's do this. Now I'm going to taper it down. Yes, I know, right? This just happens. It's part of it so that I can enjoy carbs again because I got a game this Friday, right? We're playing in our championship game for football this Friday. So, but it's a great way to be able to enjoy your life and plan like, oh my gosh, my kid's birthday is coming and I know I want a piece of that cake. I'm going to celebrate that kid just as much because I gave birth to that kid. Celebration, a little bit of celebration for me too. Woohoo, right? I'm going to have a piece of the cake. You can add that in and be like, I'll count that as my simple carb there. Yes. And plan that around your nutrition. So it's amazing when you can still live your life, not, not deny yourself things, not feel like you can't have this, that, or the other, because that doesn't allow you to lead a healthy lifestyle of nutrition. You know what I mean? It's really tough if you don't know that this is a plan that you're on that you can stay on. So that's the thing that I promote for women, keeping the body, really, really healthy, strong, getting to your healthiest weight, getting the results that you want in the best way possible to have your hormones work together and your body work together. So that is what I got for you guys right now, because I did have a lot of questions about what to do after keto. And again, this is one suggestion that if you want to look into this, if you want to look into carbs, carb cycling, Google it. There's a ton of stuff out there. There's books on carb cycling, whole books on it. Like this is, if you are that type of person where you're like, I'm going to dive in. Do it, lady. Now keep in mind in the back of your head, unless you're reading something that's specifically written for women, books that are specifically written for women, that you may be reading a lot of information that's written for men, but a lot of the information is still valuable to kind of go through, right? So just kind of keep that in mind. Try this out if you want. If you have tried it out and you're watching the replay of this, amazing. Let me know how it went for you. I would love that. And if you have any questions, I'll put links below. One for if you have a question you want to chat, you can set up a call. Two for if you want to learn more about the membership, that I have, or one of the 12-week programs, you can check some of that stuff out as well. Swellen, you don't know if you're eating the right amount of carbs every day. Okay. That is something that we can chat about. Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. But again, both of these things, I went through a lot of information. I feel like I kind of word vomited on everybody. So anyway, hopefully everybody learned something. If you found this helpful and you would click the share button and share it with loved ones that may need this help too, I would so love and appreciate it. I really believe in getting more information out to women so that you can shift and change what you're doing, or even think about the way you're fueling your body differently for how your body naturally works. So that's what I got for you. Everybody have a great night.